Hello, everyone knows me by M. I'm currently a junior at Lee Middle and High School. Just for some background knowledge, this is my second year in advanced art because I took this class sophomore year. In my previous works of art, I tend to focus on the human body. Last year, I highlighted hands in my work, while this year, I feature the upper portion of the human body. Late last year, I discovered a fascination with color, as I will explain more in detail, but in short, colors have been invading my life in the best possible way. On a personal note, I really vibe with spirituality, in the sense of honoring the human figure in all its glory and divinity, involving self-improvement, self-love, and body positivity, as well as acceptance. I'm rebelling constantly against the social norms of society, and advocating individuality and celebrating our authentic selves. When it comes to inspiration, I tend to find it in Twitter threads of emerging creators in their character designs and webcomics. The sketchy, illustrated type of work often found on my social media page through bright, bold, bouncy colors and graffiti street art catches my attention quickly. The awe-inspiring work of Jean-Michel and the dark, imaginative work of Junji Ito always makes me hold my breath. I pursue the same reaction I have towards these art styles to hopefully mirror in the reactions of those who view my artwork, including this most recent body of work. But as far as today, I'm going to be sharing the process and creation of my series from the past 6 months. I've arrived at the title of Ethereal Rune Trilogy for the series. Looking across the series as a whole, there are 3 distinct characters that emerge: peace, endurance, and justice. These 3 ideals or elements comprise the trilogy aspect of this body of work. Through these characters follows a freestyle poem with lyrical tones. In simpler terms, a poem with no set pattern or rules, expressing the themes of each respective embodiment. During these revolutionary times, I wanted to create the personification of words that I feel have been important in the social side of humanity. Peace has been pushed, endurance has been brought, and justice has been tested. I hope through my words and images, these emotions will spark recognition and echo my message in the people's hearts, and have an eye-opening shift and embrace the power these simple words hold. I'm not one to use a singular medium in my artwork. I like to use whatever I feel is best to get my ideas across. For example, if I need a softer or weathered look, I'll go with a subtle watercolor. But if I need something to stand out because of its overall importance in the theme, I'll choose a bold acrylics or paint pens to draw focus to a certain area. The primary mediums I use for the series are acrylic paint pens, watercolor paint, and ink. Using a variety of mediums enables the audience to keep their eyes wandering, adds more depth and variety to the piece while also providing areas for the viewer's eyes to rest. It's a multi-step process, which requires me to work in layers over courses of hours, days, and even weeks sometimes. I begin with an outline, planning, rough sketches, color scheme planning, and testing, mixing, and my lord, the mixing. Then the base colors, waiting for that to dry, adding shadows, highlights, details, to end up with the stratum of subtle layers. Though the work is taxing, and sometimes the idea of letting it go up in flames has crossed my mind once or twice, what I ended up with at the end of these past few months was worth all the trials and tribulations. I want to give the piece that started this whole series the proper dedication it deserves. The artwork I'm referring to is titled Peace. It's roughly 16 by 15 inches on watercolor paper, using a mixture of acrylic paint and acrylic paint pens. A little backstory. Originally, this painting was just a one-off of me practicing some different acrylic techniques. But after getting some feedback from my classmates of encouragement to create a series incorporating this theme and style, I persevered forward in my so-called Play It By Ear series. Once again, this was a completely for my own interest piece, which provided the freedom to play and less pressure to encourage experimentation. So I chose some colors I thought had combined quite nicely. The complementary colors of teal and peach, using peach as the base color and teal as my shadows and highlights. The theme of reciprocating colors carries throughout the rest of the series. Why? Because I thought it was more eye-catching, due to the juxtaposition of hues, creating a vibratory conversation. Peace was the character created from pure passion of making art. The emotions that read on their face is a worriment of hope as their wings wrap around their torso in an angelic cocoon of ethereal power. Details of gold imagery shimmer depending on how the viewer stands, inflicting this godlike emotion as peace reminisces within them. The word peace in itself lies deeply within me, probably why I chose the name for this character. A world where humanity is without peace is one not to be lived, and the cracks that are beginning to sprout as the negative emotions begin to take over the subconscious of many today. Peace is definitely one of those artworks that can stand alone in its glory, but also become ever so much stronger when in line with its additional harmonizing pieces, endurance, and justice, hence being part of the Ethereal Rune trilogy.